Good morning, everybody. It's Monday, the 8th of May, and this morning I'd just like to do a brief G10 FX cloud chart market review. It's the usual disclaimer. So going to look at a couple of G10 currency pairs, and particularly the Euro-US dollar and GBP-US dollar. Those are particularly interesting for this coming week. But yeah, let's kick off. Jumping straight into the Pro Real-Time platform. Looking at the Australian US dollar. At the bottom end, so it looks like it wants to rebound. Potential rebound potential is back up to the resistance zone here at 74.51, and support here is at 73.83. So he's somewhat range bound now in this trade. If we collapse through the support level, we could go much lower to the bottom end of the cloud here at 72.76. So that's the long-term downside target from a cloud chart perspective. But from a short-term trading perspective, the candlesticks here indicate that we found support here at the old cloud chart shadow support zone at 73.82, and the upside potential is back up to this bottom end of the cloud resistance zone here at 74.53. So we'll revisit it when it gets to that level. So the short-term swing trade opportunity as we consolidate technical reversal of this tremendous sell-off here, and upside potentials back to the bottom end of the cloud here, resistance zone. And the other resistance zone to look for is this 74.68 zone. So there's a significant resistance zone that the Australian US dollar can run into that resistance zone. So it's a couple of points from a short-term trading perspective. The Euro-US dollar, with the French elections out of the way, it's pulling back after meeting the 1.10 resistance target here, which we get from the bottom end of the cloud here. 1.1007 is the next key level, which is the bottom end of that part of the cloud, but it looks like it's consolidating a little bit. This is a significant resistance zone, 110. And we have downside potential at 109 to the top end of the cloud here, as well as this level here at 1.082. So the downside risk is there as we're now fighting this resistance zone at 1.10, 110, and we haven't seen it broken past that. It's not had a sustained breakout past that level. So far, buy the rumor, sell the fact, as they say. And downside potential, we're looking for, back to 109 and then 108.2. Now, watching very closely for a MACD sell signal to come through at this level. So we haven't had that yet, but be aware that, this trend is probably closer to the end than a continuation so far. Certainly taking profits off the table of this recent rally from the buy signal at the top end of the cloud. GBP US dollar, similar situation where we're now fighting the old lows. You have 1.2829. The cloud chart resistance zone target to look out for is 1.30, and we could see a reversal in and around that level. But watching very closely for a potential MACD sell signal in and around these levels. We've had a nice rally since the MACD buy signal. We're moving a sideways trading range. It's not a particularly, there's no strong trend in that. So it's a bit choppy, so be aware of that. But 130 is the next key resistance zone in sterling. New Zealand US dollar. Found support here at the old lows of December the 26th. It's now rebounding from that area with upside potential to the bottom end of the cloud here at 69.88. I would be watching that level very closely at first. These resistance zones here at the bottom end of the cloud is key areas to look out for. Okay. US dollar CAD. Pulling back after a tremendous rally. Consolidating that the rally's taking a breather. We can see here we managed to break through the cloud. It's now going to come back to test the weekly support for the support for the weekly cloud at 1.3576. So watch out for that. That's the downside target now for potential support to come in. But looking at the daily once again, it's consolidating, pulling back, and now it's going to come back and retest this 135.99 and 135.76 zone for support, but it's pulling back after a nice strong rally and a MACD buy signal at the top end of the cloud. So time to bank some profits there. Watching very closely for a MACD sell signal. we could see a bit of a potential attempt at another rally, and then that could help trigger the MACD sell signal. But the downside risk is back towards the top end of the cloud in the US dollar CAD. Okay. US dollar Swiss franc moving sideways, trading below the cloud. Cloud's flatlining here. It's not particularly good from a trend perspective. There is no trend basically here. If you look at the range bound, it's range bound. Buy the bottom end of the range, sell the top end of the range. So there's upside potential to the bottom end of the cloud here at 99.96. So watch out for a potential rebound to that level, as it's now finding support at multiple month lows as well as multiple month highs. So we could see a potential rebound there. Watching very closely for a potential MACD buy signal to come in and around these levels. US dollar Danish krone rebounding from old support here, old highs here. Is now a new support zone being tested. So far, it's still trying to retest that. Watching patiently for a potential MACD buy signal to come in here. Upside potential is back up to the bottom end of the cloud here. So there's a potential for a short-term swing trade in around these levels. US dollar yen. Now it's fighting resistance at the bottom end of the cloud here. We need to see a breakout past this level for a sustained rally, and then the next target will be 115.10. So watching very closely to see if it can break past these levels this coming week. Very, very, very critical level to watch. This 1112.76 zone. We need a strong breakout past that level. Otherwise, we're going to continue this downtrend, and the cloud is just going to remain key resistance. So watching out to see if it's going to be able to maintain that momentum above the 1112.81 zone. US dollar Norwegian krone also consolidating after hitting old highs here of resistance, is now looking for support at the top end of the cloud here. So watching that level very closely. Fail that, we're going to dip into the cloud, and we'll be looking at the bottom end of the cloud here at 8.4920 as the next key support zone. But currently it's testing this front cloud support, and it could dip back into this 8.532 zone. That's probably an area where I'll be revisiting it from a swing trade perspective. Okay. US dollar Swedish krona. Bottom end of the long-term support zones. Short-term potential back up to the bottom in the cloud here to test resistance. So there's a couple of points in that trade, as is now finding support in around the bottom end of the trading range here. Watching patiently to see what the MACD signal will tell us how to trade this coming week. But looking for a potential rebound, as it's going to testing support at the bottom end of the cloud here at 8.750. But back to the euro-US dollar. Going to be interesting to see how this pans out this week. Looking at a bit of a pullback. That 1.1070 is a major resistance zone. So we could see a reversal, and it's already underway back down to, as the weekly cloud remain a significant resistance zone. So this weekly cloud resistance zone is a major level to watch for. Okay. Until next time, happy trading.